this is another day that I want to share with you something different about sexuality. Yesterday or the other day we shared about somebody who was transvestic and somebody who ended up sleeping with his biological mom. Of course, this is not something we would like to hear. And today I have decided that I will share something about sexual abnormalities or sexual dysfunctions. When we talk about sexual dysfunction, we are talking about something sexually that is away from normal. You understand the normal sexual behavior. Normally, when a child grows in many spheres of life, psychologically, and that's cognitively. A child grows physically, and a child grows socially and also sexually. Those are the theories of child growth and development. For example, like the social life, when a child grows socially, it is how that child is going to interact with other people. And the interaction of the child with other people depend on the early childhood socialization. Whom did this child socialize with? What about the culture? Culture also affects how a child is going to grow. A child in Kikuyu land and a child in Maasai land and a child in Uganda within a different set of culture, that culture in Mexico, India, they are all going to grow differently and they are not going to define their sexuality in the similar way. So a child will have to grow physically, psychologically, spiritually, and also a child is going to grow cognitively. So when it comes to the sexual growth and development, this is where a child will borrow behavior from the culture he found you and your people doing it. A child learns through imitation. Is going to imitate what you do. Now, let me come to sexuality. When we are growing up, we have to be very careful on the sexual explicit. What we are going to show or tell children and what we are going to reserve. And also when you want to talk about sexuality with the children, you don't openly talk with them. There is a way that you can handle a child when it comes to speaking about sexual matters. But at the end of the day, you have to talk about sexuality. A child, if you don't teach a child issues of sexuality, they are going to learn from their peer. When they learn from their peers, they are going to get negative peer influence. And I'm very sure no one of us would like our child to get negative peer influence and end up growing with the behaviors that are not impressive. So today, and in the lessons that I'm going to, thank you, because this is something that has come, that when I'm opening this YouTube channel, I'm going to start with education. And maybe let me take about sexual education, because the first story I gave, it was a bizarre kind of story. It's better to say counseling, which is very essential. So one, before I come to sexuality, I would like to talk about a child who is born in a family and divert from the family behavior and is doing his own or her own things just because he interacted with a different set of people and friends who influence them negatively. Most of the sexual behaviors are learned or are learned from outside. So if it's you are a parent who understands things, you can take that responsibility to educate your children rather than letting them to go and learn from outside. So there are behavior that we are going to talk about when it comes to sexual. Now let us now look at the sexual dysfunctions. And we say the dysfunctions are away from normal. The child has got some kind of queer behavior and bizarre behavior, or even an adult. And most of these behaviors are acquired when somebody was a child, or depending on whom he or she interacted with. Now, we shall talk about, in this is part 1, about sexual or sexuality lesson. We are going to learn about this. Inclination or the attraction. How are children supposed to get attraction? Is it a normal attraction or abnormal attraction? A child is supposed to get attraction from the opposite sex. But today we are getting people who are getting attracted to the members of the same gender. So a boy should not be attracted to a boy. A girl should not be attracted to a girl, but rather it should be opposite. But now the problem is the behaviors we are getting. Let me say, our country is now behaving or even accepting some behaviors of gayism and lesbianism. Because so many people in the society, and we are told even big people, are getting that kind of dysfunctional behavior because of the way they grew. And therefore, we are going to talk about the gayism and how a person gets attracted to the members of the same sex and how we should avoid it. We are going to look for the several behaviors that are dysfunctional to the normal sexual behavior. For example, pedophile. This is one group that get attracted to the little children. Transvestic behavior that we talked about last time, I mentioned something about that. We are talking about the exhibitionist behavior. We are going to talk about zoophilia. We are going to talk apart from zoophilia, we are also going to talk about necrophilias and some other queer and bizarre sexual attraction. So that you understand, when your child grows up, you should be very, very involved in their day-to-day life when they are growing a sexual being, because a child also is a sexual being. And God created sex as a gift. But now we are running away from behavior. We should learn and work very hard to eliminate abnormal sexual behavior, and especially lesbianism, gayism, on all other abnormal sexual behavior. This is part 1. So when I come next with my video, I'm going to address one important lesson. And this is about the pedophiles. And maybe I can address 2 at the same time, so that we can lessen this time to learn about these things, so that we go also to other things. I'm very happy for listening to me. Join me in my next video that we are going to talk about pedophile and maybe one more sexual abnormal behavior. Thank you so much for listening to me. Don't forget that you subscribe, because this channel has got a vision and it is beneficial to so many people. When you go to our description, you will learn why we are working on this channel. Thank you so much. Join me next time, and God bless you. I am Frederick Matsal. When you come to our video, it is Matsal Official. Thank you and welcome.